All right, let's draw for turn. We're here to bring you commander insights and hot tech to level up your game. Each episode focuses on a different topic with our 4-person pod plus special guest to give you all our spicy take. And as I mentioned, we have our special guest this week, Rod Poggin Johnston. Guys, it's been 2 weeks. We have a special face. Rod, my man, I'm going to start with you. What's been new? How's life as I have to go get the door?
Man, life is generally pretty decent. It's the pandemic times, as everyone knows, but getting to play, I think because of all the pandemic stuff, getting to play Commander every Friday with a bunch of friends that like I've met online and gotten to hang out is significantly improved over not getting to play Commander at all. So
I, for one, looked forward to every Friday night to get screamed at by Rod for playing a card.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Every time I play a game with Rod, I feel like I end up taking a card out of my deck and putting a new one in.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Rod, tell the folks at home how big you made your mono green Omnath this week.
Yeah.
It was infinite mana, so it was
we declared a number.
I claimed it 3 million something.
But you are technically supposed to declare a number.
Yes.
Yep, I did. It was 3 million something.
Speaking.
No. It was not 3 million something.
It was 3 million.
So you had a 3 million Omnath?
2,198,000.
And then I hit Astrals in the face with it.
Yeah, because you didn't like Fibble.
I just want to Chandra's Ignition that Omnath.
That would be spice, or a reflecting SWAT like Adam would probably do.
Yeah, or no, deflecting palm. Yeah,
deflecting palm. Yeah.
Man, so that card's putting in so much work for Eric in that Shuyan deck, man. Let me tell you.
So I believe it.
So I built a Shia, and Adam helped me out a lot with like finalizing the list in like the end of last year. And Adam yelled at me recently. He's like, "You don't play the deck enough." And I'm like, "Well, I get into these situations where it's like the deck is either too strong or
too weak.
Usually too strong or too weak." Yeah. And so I was like, "Fine, I'm going to play this." And luckily I did, because Astrals was about to like OTK us with his Fibble flip, the lost Felipe
False
deck.
news.
He said it was.
It is Felipe. From now on, Fibblethip is Felipe. I'm just going to establish this right now. Yep. Yeah. Thank autocorrect for that one.
Astrals, but he had his Fibblethip, and he was going to be able to go infinite, like with his Isochron Scepter and all that stuff. And so,
for the record, Isochron Scepter was not in my hand at the time. All I had was a Proteus staff. I was only getting Fibblethip lost once.
And what would have happened if you would have untapped Astrals?
I still would have needed 2 turns to play everything, because my Basalt Monolith was tapped because I had to save the table from a certain player that was going to kill us the turn prior.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Was that player Rodnold Johnson? Because
yeah, and he got hit with a totally lost with the Fibblethip art.
Oh yeah, but then you realized you couldn't use it on the thing because Shia was out and it was a land.
No, this was before Shia was out. I did it before then.
Okay.
Omnath was a big boy before Shia came out.
You were like, "Do I want to put this in the deck?" I'm like, "Yeah, you want to put Omnath in this deck."
Omnath's good in the deck.
I didn't. That was a moment of clarity in Rod's head where I was like,
"Oh, that's how." Yeah, that's what I can do when I have as much mana as I want.
Yeah, that was what it was. It was the you. Everyone's done this with cards in their deck, right? Like, I don't know how good this is, and then like you have like
that's why it's good.
The heavens open up, and you're like, God's light comes down on you, and you're
I said that about deflecting palm a bunch of times, and so far it's won 3 games. So
it does this trick. So
every time,
you're good. No, go on.
I was gonna say every time Adam wins a game, it's from deflecting palm.
Just with that one deck, it's just because like people don't think about playing around it.
No.
Yeah.
Sure.
As a Boros player, I know to, because I know it exists and it's incredibly powerful. When I see
lost to it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
I see an inconspicuous red-white left up, deflecting palm, Boros Charm, and then like a couple of the 2-mana removal spells. But like deflecting palm and Boros Charm, depending on the situation, are the first things that come to my head.
Yeah,
especially if it's not my turn.
Boros Charm
especially if
is
it's my turn.
Boros Charm is possibly the funniest card that like way to beat someone. Like, because I had someone create 4,000 tokens one night at my game store, and someone Boros Charmed them to death. And it was
Are you talking? You're probably thinking
Oh,
Rakdos Charm.
oh Rakdos Charm. That's what it was. No, which
Yeah.
one kills all your? It does 1 damage. Is that Rakdos Charm?
Rakdos Charm is deal
Yeah.
1 damage to
Okay,
yeah.
then you Rakdos Charm.
Each player takes a damage for each creature they've got. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Boros Charm is like double strike, indestructible, or deal
Or
4
dome
damage.
summon for 4. Yeah, I would say the
Yeah.
dome for 4 usually doesn't come up that often.
Yeah, not in Commander
It's-
anyways.
It's all
Yeah.
the red and getting double strike, right? Because
I mean, the double strike thing is like kind of relevant.
It's
I mean, it's
it's a Voltron
Okay.
card.
what's the best red card in standard right now outside of the counter spell? It's Embercleave, right? So it's
Pretty much.
mean-
Wave, yeah. Maybe. Well, I don't know. I would say like Bone Crusher still puts in a lot of work.
Bone
Yeah.
Crusher's in a majority of decks. Like it's not a bad card. It's a 2-mana spell and it's
It's one of the reasons to play red in your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, realistically.
I mean,
Like you're
Two-
playing red just to get Bone Crusher in some cases.
the two mana to deal 2 damage is amazingly helpful early on.
Well,
in games.
what it
Usually.
means is you can't fog either.
Yeah, far more important to prevent the prevention of damage.
Yeah.
But that
that's
does, I mean, which is more of a thing in Commander than it is in Standard. There's no fog effects in Standard right now, right? So
I hope
Mm,
not.
Not that I'm aware of.
I
but,
hate playing against
Yeah.
Turbo Fog when it's in Standard.
I'm
I'm never ready for it.
I may have missed
Turbo-
it.
I mean,
Sorry, no.
I mean, Turbo Frog is like, I feel like when's that usually happen? That's like a Muldrotha thing right now. Like that.
I mean, basically any deck that can loop a glacial chasm,
Yeah.
or like just get
Oh.
There's decks that infinitely recur Spore Frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
I
it's
still
They
think-
like they like that,
They're low
but like
power,
they
yeah.
tend to be black green.
I still
I've
think
got
one of my favorite like Commander moments ever was someone kept doing that, and I think Adam was watching or whatever, and he's like, "You have 1 out," and I'm like figuring out to go get a Scavenging Ooze and get rid of the
Spore Frog.
Spore Frog
Frog.
as soon as like it hit the graveyard. I was like, it's like one of those like, aha! You get those like you get you level up in your head.
It's
with,
like you could get something really powerful, or you can just get Scavenging Ooze and
Yeah.
win the game.
That's true.
I have been known to crop rotate into Bojuka Bog in those situations.
Fair
That's
play.
good.
That's a good one too. The crap rotation's a weird card, man. Like I had it in my Ashaya deck, and I don't think it's in there anymore.
It's really
a
only
very-
worth it if you're
determined it-
running.
Yeah, we just determined it wasn't for that particular build. It wasn't like necessary.
Yeah, it was just
There's
it
no
was,
specific land that we wanted to grab. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to be running field. You need to be running bog. You need to be running like
Yeah.
cradle.
yeah.
Seriously,
and-
like, or I don't know, Urborg or coffers.
all right. So
And
then
Only good.
I have not bought a Gaia's Cradle because they cost $2,000.
they cost $1,000.
Yeah, don't save your
Yeah.
money.
So yeah, just get a proxy at this point.
Yeah.
How about we'll keep moving. I'll talk about my week in Magic. So my Obeka altar came this week. That was pretty pog. If you want to see it, you can check it out on Twitter. I posted it and retweeted it. Please, for the love of God, like and retweet it so Oscar will notice me. I just want her to like the post. She's never say a thing. I just like the post, Oscar.
Notice me,
But
Oscar
But you want it
senpai.
signed by her.
I do want to sign by her, but like she'll see it. If I get the opportunity to meet Oscar like for like a signing or something or like that kind of thing, I'll have her sign it. I'll ask her
I
to
don't-
sign it,
I
and
don't
then
think
she'll
her
see it.
I don't think her English is very good either. I mean, but
It's good
like,
enough.
I mean, she would get the basics of it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that card is gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah, Modfly
Modfly is really good.
Yeah, local artist actually, apparently out of Bloomberg, Pennsylvania, so he's local.
Oh
to me.
shoot!
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so like, I got here in a day when he emailed. He's like, I can FedEx it, but it'll take a day, or I can mail. It'll take 2 days, but just FedEx it, dude.
Yeah.
That's- yeah.
What other Magic stuff? I played my box league. We did month 2 of our box league. I bought some. I decided to use set boosters to buff my Golgari Elf deck, and it turns out the problem with the Golgari Elf deck was I should have just put Kodama of the East Tree as my second commander as opposed to the other elf, which was kind of funny. like the one that
Yeah.
makes little tokens
Yeah.
or put +1/+1 counters on elves or whatever.
Yeah.
And just use Miara to be there for the card draw, and then just like have this big Kanama come out of nowhere, like as opposed to having Kanama in the deck. Just like
yeah, it turns
here
out,
it
turns
is,
out
yeah.
having something incredibly powerful and incredibly consistent and the most consistent part of your commander deck.
Yeah,
It's
I will
probably
say,
the right decision.
I will say in limited that red O3 that like gets it boosts its attack for the lands that the defenders got.
Oh yeah.
Disgusting. I
Dude,
can't remember his name, but
The pirate, yeah.
it's a pirate, but like
And it has what do you call it? Where like it comes back from the
it's
graveyard.
trample and it has encore.
Yeah, it has
Yeah,
Encore,
yeah.
which is the
It's like,
commander.
I want to kill this, but then I'll be dead if I kill it.
Yeah, the Commander VS guys did the drafting with the like when the set Commander Legends came out.
Yeah, although
And
my friend who made a player with it didn't realize what's that red commander that's like a mana dork from Commander Legends? You can't probably know this.
You mean the Jun guy?
Elena.
Elena, yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Elena is one of his commanders.
Keswick Trapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elena Keswick Trapper. Yeah, did you know she has first strike?
Yeah.
Yeah, well
much.
now Matt
She
knows.
good. She good.
Because his little trampler just got eaten up by Elena.
Oh no! Don't tell me he's gonna do Rograk and Alana.
No, he's doing Rograk and Tevizhat as his commanders for Box League, and it's actually quite good. Because like, what's better than like 5 mana Planeswalker plus 3 cards plus 2 loyalty?
I mean,
I don't want to know.
What? To be fair, you're all using Commander Legends as your base set, and there's like no interaction in Commander Legends, so that Tevishzat just kind of gets to go out of control.
Well, yeah, there is. We just as soon as we play him, we just beat him up. And I have ways to slip by his defenders because he doesn't have like a lot of high power
Oh,
defenders.
so you got a really good box then, because it's like
No, it's just like I know what I got. I know the things that need to be done with Tevish shots, like in play. But anyway, that was my week.
Pretty slick.
Commander Legends didn't have a lot. Like, there's a couple of white board clears. It's like for a commander.
Yeah, I'm not in white.
Yeah, it's like, why are there? I'm sorry, guys. What do we need? You need targeted removal, but you need board wipes, and it's like
There's plenty of them. I have like 3 or 4 in my deck.
Yeah, there's a bunch in there.
Yeah,
Not
Black
from
had
Legends,
a good on most. Yeah, there's the one that's -2/-2 to non-elves. There's -4/-4 to everything. You become the monarch.
Mm-hmm.
There's Necrotic Hex, which is basically a board wipe. There's one more I can't think of, but I have like every possible one I could run, basically.
Yeah. You pull them
basically
all.
what happens in the seal is the board gets gummed up, so you have to figure out what to do about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need
get
solutions.
those board states. I mean,
But
that's
that was
why-
that was my week. EK probably bought some more art for his museum, whatever that may be.
So I actually worked on getting these all the way back in November around Thanksgiving. So I got a Heartless Hitotsugu and a Phyrexian Arena from Carl Critchlow. Artist proofs.
Well, one of those I like both those cards very much.
They are incredible cards. But like the detail on these, like, so he did like the little like ink micron pen sketches, and like I don't know how he got pens this small, because the detail on them is absolutely extreme.
Very tiny pen.
But like, I mean, other than that, I've been playing more. I mean, over the last month or so, I've been playing more Commander than ever, and I'm doing a thought experiment right now that I'll run past you guys. How far do you have to hamper yourself to make one of the most powerful commanders in the format fair?
Well, I tried to do that with Corvold.
Yeah, I was gonna say, ask Adam with Corval.
Pretty far, honestly.
Yeah, and that's what I've been finding. So like today, I've been talking to a bunch of different people, like a bunch of different content creators, stuff like that. Like, how far do you have to dial a card like Najila back to make her a fair deck?
Well, I can only speak from the experience that I have. I had an Urza deck, and I literally stopped playing it.
I say, like, isn't your Najila deck just like strong, powerful ladies tribal?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, it's able to Wooburg and like extra combat just with a mana sink.
You get into
So, like,
his
So we figured out you literally have to cut colors and cut the ability to produce that color of mana.
So you don't get to use all the abilities on your G list. It's basically you have to eliminate some of the rules text.
Yes, you are essentially crossing rules text out, but even then, it's still not enough. Because I've talked to several people who are like, yeah, I just play mono red Najila, and I'm able to hang at C tables. Like straight up one color Najila. She is that powerful that you can hang at a C table or just below a C table and make a game.
Is she pretty good? She's pretty good.
Yeah,
that deck.
Well, but it boils down to people have no way to deal with boards.
Well,
it's not that what you
see. They don't play boards.
Yeah. The higher up you go on the power scale, the less people care about the board.
True.
And she's all in on the board.
I mean, that's why you can go. We've talked about this, EK. That's why you can go into one of those tables with a Krenko or Najila or something like that.
Yeah,
you're not guaranteed to win, but you're gonna
raise hell.
Swazi, what you been up to?
What have I been up to?
The happiest man on the show right now.
True.
I am quite stoked. I live in Tampa, Florida, so Bucks just won the Super Bowl. Pumped on that. Also, Bucks won the Super Bowl. Pumped on that. And got a second deck coming in.
Nice.
Bucks won the Super Bowl again. But
I did.
It's actually, I know we're talking about the Toski Bowl that we're gonna have, but that's actually not the second deck that I ordered. It should hopefully be here this week. It is also mono-colored and also not represented in a lot of my decks.
Okay.
Pretty pumped about it. EK can't say anything because he knows what it is. But
I helped you build it. That's why.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a little. Only hint I can give is that it's apple green dragon shield sleeves.
You only use apple green dragon shields.
Yeah, it's like your signature.
I have it for the last couple of decks because they were Grixis or something, and I always use
that wasn't appropriate.
Yeah, I always use petrol for that.
Swazi, do you know how to operate a deck that doesn't have counter spells in it? That's my next question.
This one doesn't.
This one will not have a counter spell in it. And no.
That's a good answer.
You know how much crap I've gotten from people because my Obeka deck doesn't have a single counter spell in it, and I'm like, I don't care. That's not what I want to do with a deck.
Yeah.
I want to hit you with giant things in the face.
The reason I don't play with you a lot is because I have 99 cards you're gonna have a problem with, and then a commander.
Again,
who you will also have a problem with, probably.
Swazo, you are what we like to call a spike in these parts. And
Rod, have you hung out with me? I'm pretty sure I'm not like a super spike, but I'm
he's spiky.
You're like an undercover spike.
Yeah.
But you spike in Boros, which is just like playing fair for the rest of the color.
Boros, Naya, Dinbrid.
Who gave yourself a handicap before playing a skins game with us? You know, like you pick the worst colors because you know you're gonna win anyways.
I mean,
here's the thing: I don't win. I go out of my way to make the fun play almost every time.
EK goes for the fun stuff.
I will say this deck will be more fun than my decks typically are for everyone else at the table, at least.
Can I at least give them one hint?
Yes.
This is a very nostalgic deck for Steven.
Oh. Is it goblins? It's goblins, isn't it?
I will make a lot of something, that's for sure. It could be mana, it could be tokens, it could be both.
It's probably
it's either goblins or it's a Tog.
Oh, if it's a Tog, please.
Yeah, so
I've been trying to figure out how to make an ATOG deck, but they're just so bad.
I mean, yeah,
they're so bad for Commander.
Well, it sounds like everyone's had some pretty exciting 2 weeks, though.
And the Bucks won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Sean, you have to give
this show. I'm going to segue it because this show will be out before the exciting rest of the week. We have an exciting rest of the week coming too.
We do. Oh, am I supposed
to
say
it? What about your week, Sean? Sean, I want to hear about your week.
His week doesn't matter.
No, ouch.
It does.
He literally got interrupted by a delivery at the beginning of the show. I
apologize about that. I don't think this show would have been anything less than what it is right now if we hadn't brought Rod on. So this is just the sake of it.
I don't even think I've said the F word yet. So I mean, come on, I've been a good boy.
I'll go quick before my week. Like EK said, we have some pretty hype announcement. Aside from an amazing guest on the show tonight, later this week, we are getting to play Commander with the Talia Vest. Saturday, we're getting to play Commander with the Radical Mari and ESP for him. And then on the next Friday, we get to play Commander with Emma Skyward. So, hype news.
Hype news. Lots of celebrities.
Lots of celebs. Yeah,
and there may or may not be a couple more in the works.
Fingers crossed.
Working.
Yeah.
It turns out that people.
Is it Oscar? Please say it's Oscar.
It's not Oscar.
No, it turns out people just really want to play Commander.
Yeah.
And they don't care who. They just really want to play.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Lady Danger was getting invited to so many Commander games that she's like, I'm taking January off from playing Commander games. Like she was like,
Oh yeah.
she was literally playing so many games of Commander that
I had my chance to shoot my shot with the rules committee, and I didn't take it.
Do it next time, man. Do it next time.
I was too intimidated.
I mean,
They were
You
asking for it.
you have lasagna tiers on the board now, man. Come on, it's
Dude, that's I love lasagna. Lasagna EDH, LEDH.
Fair.
I
Lasagna sucks
I don't know
eating
what
by
it is.
yourself. Commanders like lasagna. It sucks playing by yourself.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Swazo's
Are
you
you
speaking
sucks,
French?
He's like,
wait,
no, it's
Are we
what
saying
sucks-
you can't have lasagna by itself? Like you have to have like a side dish? I'm confused.
No,
You
you
make
have to eat it.
lasagna. You're having the intention is you're serving it to all your friends, and everyone's gonna
Yeah,
get some.
We're
it sucks eating lasagna by
Alright.
yourself.
It
Well-
sucks playing Commander with Swazo, who plays solitary. Is what the point of that whole situation was.
That's why
I
I'm
would
very
like to
relaxed.
raise my point and raise an
You want to put
objection to the
solitaire after
court.
this? We'll talk,
I'm going to
alright?
accept the rejection
I-
and continue on because we do have a ton of
Yeah.
other stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
tonight.
we have to get calling up here. Yeah. All right,
Um,
so we got a minute to talk about some news on the stack from in the world of Magic the Gathering, and here it is. Caldime's out.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, me and Sean each got it. Oh wait, the other bit of Sean's week.
Yes.
We each got a box of a set booster, and we played some baseball with it, and I lost. So,
How
let's-
did you lose, Adam?
Well, because Sean's the luckiest SOB in the history of Magic the Gathering for the most
He
part.
literally pulled he pulled the single best card from the list.
Yeah, not only that, he pulled a Cavern of Souls, so like he didn't win that pack, but he won. He won the moral victory there. Not moral victory, but he won the monetary victory.
How many times have I told everyone that Sean has a lucky horseshoe so far up his ass that you couldn't remove it with surgery? That's how it's connected to his.
I just thought I could beat him in a game he never played, and I was wrong. So now, so the stakes were now I have to talk like Barney the dinosaur for an entire stream pod in the near future, and I can't wait to sound like this every time I play a card.
And it's going to be great.
Love you,
Stop growing up. So.
love me.
Yeah. So that game will never make it onto our YouTube channel, but it will be on a Sunday. So
It'll be on a
forward to
fun
that
day.
here.
It'll be on a
Yeah.
fun day. But yeah.
It's on the chill, de-stress afternoon.
You know, I'm gonna have to sneak. I'm gonna have to sneak in. Does anyone know the rules to this game? And when we play,
Oh, no.
No, I'm expecting you to say, reading the card explains the card.
reading the card explains the card.
I think you have to play a group hug deck.
I don't own that actually.
You can
I
make
don't- I-
one.
I don't have. I have group. I do not have group hug nor dinosaurs. So your next suggestion was also going to be moot.
Adam, did we have any other news on this deck?
Nah, that's it. Unfortunately.
There's some other layer, but it doesn't really matter.
Lasagna. There's like-
The secret lair. Yeah,
secret lair.
the one that it looks cool. It goes to apparently your money goes to Black Girls Code, but you want to know what? I'm gonna put this right here. Just donate to Black Girls Code.
I'm literally just gonna go out and buy the Shalai single and then donate the rest to the charity directly.
What? I don't.
Hands down.
I've so been like out of everything I see Secret Lair, especially since Walking Dead. But I think I bought the one that went to the St. Jude's or whatever.
Extra Life.
Yeah, Extra Life.
Yeah, the Extra Life one, yeah.
With the Teferi.
Life tool. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No. With the consecrated Sphinx,
Yeah, that was
you.
Yeah, that was
Consecrated.
probably like straight up the best layer in terms of value that they've ever printed.
I didn't
Oh, yeah.
have a consecrated Sphinx or a Teferi's protection, so
But now you do.
Now you do.
Yeah.
Do.
And the consecrated Sphinx is now in my Obeka deck because that is
That card,
A very good
is
card in that
disgusting.
deck.
Yeah.
Very good
Alright.
card.
So that is it for all the news on the stack that's resolved. Let's get into our main topic: adjusting to / with your Commander player group. So we brought Rod on the show this week because Rod is probably like the biggest, had to make the most adjustments of anybody I've seen in our play group. Rod, give us some background about like how you played Magic before playing with us, and just so we get an idea where you were at.
Or how you play card. Like, I mean, because you had a long standing background in Hearthstone
So
before you started playing Magic.
So my background in cards goes back to I was a kid and probably about middle school, and someone handed us a whole box of like commons and uncommons of Magic the Gathering cards, which, you know, at that point you're like, this is probably like 96 or something like that. And so those cards are probably worth something, even ones that weren't that great. And I was like, I wanted to put goblins and crap together, and that's what I liked back in the day. And then I kind of didn't play many card games up until like I played a little bit of the VS, the DC
versus system,
yeah. And I had one deck, and it was like Fantastic Four, like whatever their like Antarctic freeze thing or whatever it was. And then one of the cards got banned, and I got mad, and then I stopped playing that. And then where I met EK and Astrals and Swazo actually was playing Hearthstone, which I played obsessively for years.
To an unhealthy amount.
Oh yeah,
Can I say my favorite Rod quote?
Go ahead.
My opponent plays Big Preet. You always drop the card. How good are you? The Hearthstone.
So that still happens now when I'm sitting here by myself playing Arena, and then like someone plays like Life Gain or something like that,
or like the Tybalt's Trickery deck or something.
I had that actually pulled off for the first time like earlier today.
I cannot believe that's a thing.
I can't.
Someone won the last Modern Challenge with that deck.
For Christ's sake!
It's gonna get banned in the very near future. But no, so I played a bunch of Commander, and I not Commander, Hearthstone, which led to me doing a podcast about Hearthstone, which happened and ran for like 150 episodes. But then I started losing my mind because the game isn't exactly what I wished it would be anymore. As EK is laughing because he knows it's true.
EK choking on the truth.
Yep. And so I quit.
Yeah, but you never like played anything super spiky in a lot of the time.
He did. He
did.
I wrote for Temperstorm. Yeah, I wrote
for like
Temperstorm.
8 months.
Yeah.
And it was I wrote a lot about. I was actually writing about the decks
he was writing about the most spikiest, like problematic decks in the format.
Well, that's definitely a big venture from when we first started playing Commander.
Oh, I didn't want to. It was just what I got to I didn't like the decks. It was like I was assigned mage, and so I was doing mage and warrior.
When we first started playing, your decks were very like casual and like very like, I want to slap this big thing down and let's see what happens.
Yeah, because it was a departure from what he was used to.
Yeah,
based on his card playing background.
Yeah, it was.
I appreciate that.
So it was. I got to do the things and I'd been playing Arena casually at that point, and then it was really Astrals and EK and our buddy Saucy who got me into fully into Commander. And we went to Commander Fest in Denver in 2019, and Saucy bought me my first Commander deck, and it was one of the pre-cons with the moose and the girl that
Marith.
The
Naya Moose,
which is not that deck is It is.
Oh no, out of the box is not very good.
It is terrible, and we tried to fix it, and I didn't know what I was doing, and so it got better, but it wasn't good, and so that which preceded me into playing Commander with like dinosaurs and dragons, and then I've kind of started trying to do crazier crap, but it's kind of my card game. I'm a very EK and Astrals will tell you, and Adam even. I'm a very battle cruiser kind of guy when it comes to Commander. Most,
But you're responsible with it because like you like you'll play tabletop if you need to. Like you know, you have ways to win the game.
Yeah. Adam was implying that changing. I mean, you and Adam both. The things that set me off personally, and this is a rod rule. If you don't want to hear about shit, I just don't like when people stop me from playing Commander because that's my time. That's my thing. I get to do with my friends. I get to play Commander.
It's your escape. And just like the rest of us. But like more than probably most people we know. Like you take that seriously.
Yeah. Well, I was playing with Carl. I was playing with Carl the other night, and he played that artifact that you.
Oh yeah, he had a removal a creature that removed stuff on a mimic vat.
Angel Sanctions, if I'm
Angel Sanctions, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, this isn't fun. And
you want to know the funny thing? Both of those are in the same precon together. That is like a pre-constructed like
thing. Yeah, it's in the Mel Gibson precon.
It's literally a salt shaker. Let's go.
Yeah. that they sold in a package in a pre-boxed product.
Yeah. I see that happens, and like things like that set me off. I had a guy, one of my real life friends who plays in the group with us. He played a ensnaring bridge playing mono red one night and had 0 cards in his hand, and I wanted to strangle him in like real life at that point.
I mean, it makes sense. Like mono red can't draw cards; they exile the cards, but it doesn't count as being in their hand.
Yeah,
so
it makes sense.
So I would say overall, like this is just a thing from community. Every community plays different, has different ways they want to play, generally across the spectrum. So coming into a new community, you kind of like. You need to determine if you want to stay there. If you want to stay there, you may need to make some adjustments. And we're going to give you a few. We're with Rod to give you a few tips on how to do that. Yeah. So I think the biggest one that me and Rod can agree with is don't upscale your deck, but adjust and learn playstyles. So what we mean by don't upscale your deck is like this is like kind of like quote unquote creating the arms race. Like don't feel like you're in an arms race. When it comes to adapting, learn to play different and like adjust your style, maybe of deck building or playing or decision making, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and me, Adam, we had this discussion months back about the Friday night groups, and because that started turning into a little bit of an arms race. There was
And that's inevitable in a playgroup, but it's like, how do you minimize it and how do you keep it under control in a healthy way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like, like basically if I'll give you an example. Like, so if everyone in your group you're new in the group and you see everyone's running Mana Crypt, does that mean you have to go out and get Mana Crypt? No.
If you need a Mana Crypt, I opt for getting it out of booster boxes.
Oh my God. Anyway.
That's even worse.
Or if you, but like the biggest thing, like for at least probably for like in general, I think Ryan can agree with this, is adjusting to like a lot of popular play styles, especially like I'll give you some examples like Graveyard Shenanigans, pretty popular in our play group.
Yeah, I mean it's if you're playing with a bunch of people and you're playing with the same people all the time, and you go, hey, they're playing Wildrothas, they're playing all this stuff that they're pulling stuff out of their graveyard constantly. Maybe you're putting in a tech card. Maybe you're putting in a Bojuka Bog, which you should be running if you're in black regardless. But things like Graph Digger's Cage, maybe you put a Graph Digger's Cage in your deck or something like that, just to try to help out with like things that are problems in your play group. I think that's one of the best things about Commander, right? You have 100 cards, and
you have like 16,000 options.
Yeah, exactly. And unlimited options, right? You could do whatever. It's magical Christmas land. You could, I mean, Adam loves the term magical Christmas land. but-
Because it's actually a term in like Magic writing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
To walk people off the buying the timeshare Magical Christmas Land quite frequently. So,
But if this happens, Adam, and I do this and this and this happens. Woohoo!
I'll just give you an example. Like recently, I had to walk someone down off a card because I told them basically I had to explain to them if this card is only good with your commander, then it's not good enough for your deck. Yeah. Like if the existence of your commander is what makes this card good, then this card is not good enough for your deck.
That's like a really hard thing to hear, but like probably one of the first things you should think about.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was gonna say it's funny because like, you know, Steven and I trend a little bit spikier than most people. Inadvertently, but we still do because our upbringing and the people who taught us Commander were competitive constructed players. So the instant thing that you think about is like, what is the hardest hate card that I can think about to counter something? So, the first thing, if I'm thinking about countering a graveyard deck, is like, oh, I'm just going to run Rest in Peace in all of my decks. You don't necessarily have to do that, and we were walked back from doing that constantly.
Yeah,
and think about every situation.
Right, I will advocate running healthy options like Bojuka Bog and like Scavenging.
I had this conversation with Rachel Weeks on Twitter, like Scavenging, or not Twitter, on Twitch, in like a Twitch chat randomly. It was like, if you're having if people in your playgroup just like aren't having it with like you messing with their graveyard and the graveyard decks, it's like Scavenging is. It's not, not the greatest, but it's something. It's not the worst. It's healthy.
Yeah.
You're able to stop the worst of it, but your opponent's still able to play their deck.
So I think so. Back on the topic of adjusting and learning play styles, I think the other thing you want to do is like maybe adjust to like the social aspect of the group too. Like maybe you don't have the answer right away, but like maybe you should like maybe you want to start using this like not so much politics, but like say, hey, listen, this is a problem. I think the three of us are going to have to deal with it, kind of thing. Like, I don't have the answer right away, but maybe we can piece something together between the three of us.
And you're doing the most fun part of Commander. You're talking and working on problems with your friends. You're going, this person is a problem. We need to deal with this. And sometimes you're going, no, I'm not the problem. It's this guy right here. It's
literally like the reason to play the format.
Yeah.
I
mean, the biggest aspect
supremely involves the gathering.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's
Commander social.
Oh, I think Ashley's
it's not Magic the grinding. This is like the gathering in a nutshell.
Yeah, Ashley's definitely had some good point. I was gonna bring up a good point on this, Ashley.
Yeah, I was just
I
was just gonna say, like, it's the social aspect of the entire game, right? Like, adapting your play style is not just adapting how you're gonna play your cards, but adapting what you're doing in the setting of the game you're in. I had a really engaging talk with Surreal about this over the weekend, one of our other community members, and about how it's one thing to learn how to play your deck, but it's another to learn how to play your deck in a different social setting of Commander, because you can play the deck correctly in the best way. He did get it from you. He mentioned it. But it's an entirely another to play your deck in an aspect to create a situation that's fun and memorable.
Yep.
You want a fun and memorable game.
I think Surreal is one of those people that I think had similar backgrounds to EK and
he's literally a CEDH brewer.
Yeah. And it's
that prefers to play casual.
That has played with me and has had rod interactions, which rod interactions occur when you play with rod, but he's been open to looking at it and just realizing that Commander is
what is fun for him might not be fun for other people, and that's like something to keep in mind in general, probably, right?
Yeah, it's when you're with people. I mean, I'm a social person, and this whole pandemic has been you can't go anywhere or do anything, and so that's one of the reasons I get so frustrated when people stop me from playing Magic, because I'm not getting to do the thing with people and BSing and having fun with people. The only time I get to do it, because it's one of the reasons why I love streaming, because I get to interact with chat and everything like that. But it's when you go in and I go in and I tell people before when I'm playing, if you're playing land destruction, I really don't want anything to do with it. And if you're doing like,
I'm the one
stack
who made you
step-
hate land destruction.
I run land
You know-
destruction.
again,
be-
I've told Astrals this: if you're gonna land destruct me and win the next turn,
Okay.
yeah,
Swazo, you had
Shuffle.
you had a point you wanted to get in here.
I was gonna say what Rod is saying right now is huge. Like, be vocal. Like, if you don't like something, don't get into a pod with 3 people who are gonna do that thing.
Don't draw your 7. Like, have a conversation before the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
and that's
every minute of discussion before the game is a minute saved from having a poor experience.
I've had. I mean, how many people have gone into a game of Commander and gone and expected one thing, and then you
Not
get
something else, yeah.
you get
I'm pretty
sidetracked,
sure everyone can raise their hand. Yeah,
and it's like
absolutely.
you're like, and not saying that that's always bad, but it's often in a situation where you're going, I didn't expect this, and if someone drops a winter orb right away, you're like, well, here goes my, like, you're going, I have my precious time and I have a winter orb down on the table that I'm never gonna get to do. I hate there are cards that have caused major problems with me specifically in our play group. And one of those
one
cards,
of them just as a forward.
I'm pretty sure that's also my fault.
no, Vorinclex and Jin and Taxes as
Yeah, just any praetor. Rod doesn't
No.
like it.
no, that's
I mean,
not true.
Alishnorn's fine. Urbrask is fine.
Oh,
I
the other
play-
ones, no, thank you. Right?
I play Shieldred and I play
Yeah.
Urbrask, yeah.
yeah, like anything anything that goes, okay, it's gonna give
You
me
can
an
still
advantage.
play, but you're gonna be it's gonna be tough.
You're gonna be severely handicapped, yeah.
But you can play.
Yeah, exactly. It's
There's a difference.
and the Elish Norn is like I first saw that card when I first started playing with like Saucy and his power cube, and that card was in it, and you're like, that card when you're first starting playing, it was like, oh my god, this is the best card that's ever, like, it just is flashy.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, and the big stats, and then you go, I have an Elish Norn now. I've never even put it into a deck because I'm like, I don't know where it, like, I want it in an environment.
It's literally just like a good white card you put into anything.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, I agree.
It's rare. It's rarely put into a deck with intention unless you're destroying someone else's lands with it.
yeah. And guess what? I'm not doing. I have one
Funny.
strip mine, and that's in my Ashaya deck for just like
I don't know. It's funny.
convince
It's
you to
funny
put it in.
you mentioned it. I don't know. It's funny to me that you mentioned.
I convinced you to put it in because people could also run land destruction cards, and with the Shia, they could just kill anything on the board, basically.
Yeah. No, but like to the point of strip mine, like, there's cards in our format like Cabal Coffers, Cabal Stronghold, Gaia's Cradle,
yeah.
Sarah Sanct, like just these must kill land cards.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like, unless barring strip mine and like Field of Ruin, there's no way to deal with them.
Yeah.
And that's like a healthy way to deal with things. You don't have to run Armageddon or like Follow the Thran.
Yeah.
Strip mine is like a perfectly reasonable, socially acceptable way to deal with those must-kill cards.
Yeah, Astrals, you want to get it? Yeah, something you want to get in. Well, before let's get this in. We'll move on to the next.
Yeah, I'll make it really quick. It's the point of targeted interaction. Like, targeted interaction is healthy. Like, if you have access to it, choose what you can, because at least one piece of it makes for a healthy game. Because if someone pops off, sure, they're getting in. But like we said before, a fun, memorable game is where you want to go, and you need targeted interaction in order to make sure that it's a fun, memorable game for everyone. Because you hitting your opponent's Gaia's Cradle might just be the game-winning moment that keeps it going. And that's the fun thing of the game.
And it's so innocent, too. Yeah. It's like, I didn't Armageddon and kill everyone's lands. I literally just killed this one land that happened to matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been pissed off at a Chain of Vapor. Everyone's pissed off at a Cyclonic Rift. Okay?
Or
pretty much.
What's the Cyclonic Rift on a stick? The giant that they just printed?
You're right. No, well, I think it's even fun. No one's ever mad at a single target Cyclonic Rift, but everyone's super pissed off and wants to quit magic.
I think that again,
overloaded Cyclonic Rift.
Adam, were you in that game with me? We played one of the nights and I was playing my Thassa deck, and I kept pulling single target things with Cyclonic Rift and like doing graveyard recurring it because I had to.
with
and,
like Sanctuary.
yeah.
Well, yeah, he flickered out like an Archaeomance or whatever. I kept getting it back or whatever. Yeah.
It's responsible high power magic.
Yeah.
I always like this saying, it's unfair things done fairly.
Cyclonic Rift for me, there's two situations I use Cyclonic Rift. Either A, I'm gonna win the next turn because I'm
Or
doing
this
it
turn.
concept,
Or this will save my life. Yeah.
or this is going to save the table from the problem player. Those are the two, like, or one play. That's the only time. And I know that, like, I feel like I've seen less and less Cyclonic Rifts in our group, and I just don't.
I think a big
Can't
part of it is
afford
like we've learned how feel bad it single-handedly makes a game.
Yeah.
It single-handedly wins games for most people who cast it. So a lot of us just cut it.
I mean, I kind of compare that to Torment of Hailfire. Torment of Hailfire is a card that I never actually want to cast, and because every time I just feel like that asshole. Like, he dropped his balls on the table, and now everyone has to deal with his balls. I mean, it's just not nice. It's a rude experience, and that's like, I don't know, man. It's Astrals. I had to say something crazy, or you're gonna.
He's not. I mean, you're not wrong though.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's so
agree.
low on the scale of crazy that I thought I was gonna get. It doesn't even register.
Yeah. So like
good.
tapping out and playing a Torment of Hailfire X equals 19 is like not on the register of like broken bullshit that you can play in this.
I think I've cast a Torment of Hailfire.
I'm gonna put a like a foul language disclaimer when I edit this episode later.
Yeah.
I
Shit.
think I've tormented Hailfired one time, and it was when I had a black market up, and so I tormented of Hailfired for like 40 or 50 or something like that. And I'm like, okay, that was.
This isn't fun.
Yeah, it's.
It wins, but it's not like it's so anticlimactic.
And it
Game
just feels
over.
bad. Yeah, it's
All
like
All right. So learning, adjusting the learning plays as opposed to create, trying to catch up with an arm's race is the first way to adjust to your commander group. The next kind of comes on is also a kind of personal responsibility thing. And I think Sean's actually one of the better people at this. Knowing your deck's floor and ceiling. So what we mean by that is like, what's the range of your deck can actually be playable? What's the range of power your deck can actually play at? Now versus what you think it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Sean, go ahead.
Can I preface this
Absolutely.
conversation real quick? So this actually came up. I was having a discussion with PJ, Commander Replay, earlier today, of the whole my deck never does this kind of thing. So this is the perspective that's coming from. Like, you just don't know that your deck is able to do something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And just leads to blowouts that no one saw coming. Like, no one signed up for that or anything like that, and neither did you. So just knowing your deck.
Yeah, like EK said, those blow up situations come up because I mean, we've all been in situations where there will be that game and it's like, my deck's never done this, and you're just like, well, okay, that's great. Like, you won on turn 3.
I'm pretty sure Rod's first ever game of Commander was on my end. My deck has never done this because I tabled the deck on turn 4 with like the most casual, innocent deck ever. That's when I learned Storm Cauldron is a really mean card, especially in a lands deck like Windgrace. Like, lesson learned, and I removed the card from the deck.
And
Like, it happens to everyone at some point, but like preventing that, as in being proactive about preventing that, is important to me.
And you want to take out exceptions. If you're playing against Raska and his Hippo deck, then like that doesn't really count because that is a.
Are they hungry?
Yeah, they're hungry.
The hungriest.
It's the biggest groupiest hug deck of all time. So
I mean, Steven and I firmly believe this after playing with my old play group at SCG Indy. There is no such thing as a group hug deck. Group hug decks are the biggest lie in the entire format.
Because they all have win. If they were true group hug decks, they wouldn't have win.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have win.
Like,
conditioning.
out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Or everyone would win at once.
Yeah. Like it would
did that
like
one time.
at their best, it would force a tie every time.
Everyone would be
Why would it
sticky,
ties?
tired, and need to go to sleep.
So I'll give an example. So Sean, when we sit down and we play and like you're gauging the table, you like and you pull out you want to play like arithmetes, like like the best it can be.
Oh,
you also
excellent.
know like the worst it can be.
Yeah, and like
At worst, it does nothing. At best, it makes infinite mana out of nowhere.
well, yeah, like EK said, like at worst, it's a serpent, big creatures. Best case, infinite mana. You mill someone out or you deck them.
Yeah.
But no, like the best way I found like to learn your deck is just rule 0 at the start of a pod. Like I mean, we all practice it, but you always know when I start a pod when we go for stream, it's 3 simple questions. It's who's my commander? What are a couple cards I'm doing in the deck that I'm getting done? And what is my kind of strategy? Right? And that kind of comes from knowing. And that gives an explanation for what people can expect to see with it.
I also think it's very important that if you can't answer those questions, you haven't played your deck enough.
Hands
Like
down.
you should be able to know what your deck is capable of for this conversation to even take place.
There's a sub conversation beyond that. If you don't know, you preface, I don't know what this deck can do.
Just talk.
Yeah, I mean,
Just talk.
granted, it could be yes, it could be a new deck. Yes, if you've had kind of wild experiences with it, maybe that's kind of another reason you wouldn't know. But it's a good idea, like to at least to adapt. If you know the floor of your deck is pretty low, maybe you need to make some harder choices with where it is or what you're doing in the game that to adapt to a game with your playgroup.
Yeah, I think there's a thing that I think is underrated when it comes to playing Commander. Say you have a 8 deck, and you sit down at a table, and you got 3 peoples with 6s. Your opening hand has a Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, and say Rhystic Study. How about you don't open turn 1 with Mana Crypt, Soul Ring,
Rhystic
and
Study.
Rhystic Study, and
You can't do that though, because you need to use the one. No, you actually can. You can't. Never mind. Shut up. I'm done.
Yeah.
I know what game
can
he's
do- you can
referring
play
to
that.
about, by the way.
you can.
It's-
You
The
can
point-
play that. You can play
Talk
that.
about single
point of-
target removal.
The point of all that though was just because your deck can do something doesn't mean that it should.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the ceiling thing is kind of like, do I like you have to gauge with your group? Do I always have to do the best thing? If your group is that, and they're like, we always do the best thing all the time, then
Like, are you going into the game with a spike mentality, or are you going into the game with
I would
we're
say-
just hanging out, having a good time?
I would say
and
more
there just
so-
happens to be a card game happening.
I would say more so lately. Unless I really need to catch up, I don't always do the absolute best thing I can do.
I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah, Rod's played against my Hapatra deck a bunch of times, and he knows that I can. There is a 3-card out to instantly end the game. Do I always go for that? No, because the deck has like a million win conditions. So why? I kind of like to diversify.
We played a game like 2 weeks ago. It was last weekend actually. And I literally could end the game right then and there. I had Wild Pair out. I had the Greenbelt Rampager in hand. I had all 3 infinite combo cards in the deck. I was like, I'm having way too much fun. I don't want to end this game.
Yeah.
So I did the cool.
So you have to make that.
I took the socially responsible thing. Like, we're all having fun. I don't want this to end. Let's just see what happens.
Was that the Goblin game?
Yeah, it was. I had a way to end. I had a way to end that game on the spot, and I didn't do it.
After I would have won that game,
Yes.
if that damn the banner hadn't gotten taken out.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you were about to 400 the table, and
So wait, AK, did you win that game or did you lose?
no, I did not. I died to mana crypt damage,
yeah, you did.
Oh,
which is honestly even cooler.
Who won that game? I don't even think.
You did. I thought.
Did I win with Cranko?
Was it-
I
You
didn't.
you still won,
I don't know if I.
but you
maybe I
didn't.
did.
You didn't win on turn 4.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
won on turn 8.
Which is we had gone.
But
in, we were all,
it was
using-
a win. It was a win on turn 4, and we weren't playing incredibly powerful decks. We were playing
Yeah.
good decks, but we weren't
Yeah.
playing strong decks.
Yeah, it was
you
some
hit
of
your
our
you hit your ceiling,
yeah,
and your ceiling was answered.
yeah, exactly.
But we knew that could happen. We had a conversation before the game. We said
Yeah.
Rod could just hit Krenko on turn 2,
Right.
play a
So-
bunch of goblins, and kill us.
So I
We
think
knew that was.
I think that just the moral here for this is sometimes it's okay to play below your ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is okay to not play the best card in your hand.
Yeah, or do the best thing.
And if you don't know how to do that, sorry, Sean, you're next.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry. If you don't know how to not play the best cards in your hand, say that beforehand, and just know what we're getting into. Just know, like me, I don't know how to do that. Like everyone knows that though.
Again, it's a simple sentence. I don't know how to play this deck. I don't know how good it is. Are you guys okay if we figure out how good this is?
And
If you know what you're getting yourself into beforehand, well, frankly, to a degree, you can't have any gripes.
And if your table has issues with that or gives you shit about that, your table sucks because they're either playing just to win or they're just assholes. Like those are the two options at that point. So like if you're at a table with good people who are there to teach and learn and have fun, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this.
That sounds
and
fun.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
cool.
exactly. And they're gonna be like, okay, well, say you have one of those hands and you're like, well, I don't, then say something. Raise your hand. Mr. Swazo, yes. Well, I have infinite mana and I could win on turn 3, but I don't know what to do. Should I play this hand or should I mulligan?
And if you say you happen to keep it, and this is why this is where we're
No,
close enough.
it was
This is
it was
there's
a school student. That's what it was. It was.
and this is where Sean's earlier point of what our friend Surreal brought up. He's like learning how to play your deck and learning how to play other people's decks. So like learning how to play against it and be a good opponent. When we play, it's not 1v1v1v1. It's 4v4v4v4. We're all playing each other's decks. We're trying to learn how to play our decks at their ceiling and learn the ceiling so we can all have the best experience that we can.
Yeah.
Sean, you had a comment you wanted to make.
I cut you off so hard.
No,
honestly,
it's fine because this actually really ties in well. Because what I was gonna say was the point here of knowing the floor and ceiling of your deck really ties into the not having to upscale and learn your strategies and adjust. And I'm gonna use myself as a personal example here because I'm a dirty food chain player. Everybody knows it. Oh. I have comboed on turn 3 with Food Chain. I have also played Food Chain with Guild Gates because shenanigans and fun. But I've played that deck and I've had my fun with it. What I did with the deck, with thanks to Adam and EK and a few other feedbacks, was I turned my Nith Food Chain into Corvold Food Chain, which I know is going to sound like it's more disgusting. But the purpose...
But people know what they're getting into when they get into a Corvold game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on top
that's the
of
difference.
That, I adjusted the style of the deck so that it's not a focus to just get the food chain and win, because there's one line of play with a plan C to win with food chain, but the point of the deck is to play the 4 big Eldrazi and just dumb big stupid creatures out. That's what it does. The food chain is just like, I can sack off a couple Eldrazi tokens for double the mana if I don't have my altar out, and here is an Emrakul, here is an Ulamog, here is a Kozilek. And I've adjusted my playstyle from instant here's a Corpse Knight combo to here's just big dumb shit. Have fun. And I get to do it my way. And I've loved that learning experience because it brings in something new and yet still something I enjoy, but not at a broken infinite level kind of thing.
It's a dragon. It's degenerate. It's right up Sean's alley.
Yeah,
right it up.
All right. And then the last thing, adjusting to your playgroup, adapting, is maybe the choices of cards you need to change. I want to just
that's really sugarcoating the note that I made.
Okay, well, we'll just touch base on specifically attrition basically. We'll and health ones that are more healthy and more fair for the playgroup versus ones that are more spiky and quote unquote toxic, I suppose. Example,
essentially a giant middle finger to the group.
Sure. Okay, so example. Okay, would you rather not saying that this won't happen in the same game, but is it's kind of like Swords to Plowshares versus Generous Gift. One strips something from you, an opponent, leaving nothing. One does strips something
and is 1 mana.
And is 1 mana. The other strips something the opponent, costs more mana, but gives them something in return. So it's a matter of you have to determine what's right for your group. Are they playing this? It's kind of like sometimes there's a middle ground. Like you can play both in both times, but like making choices like instead of playing Cyclonic Rift, I'm gonna play Evacuation instead. So everyone's even my stuff bounces.
I think that's a really important thing is that you're only 25% of the decision making and thinking at the table. Like 75% of the people aren't going to have fun if you're the only one having.
I was about to say you're only 25% of the fun happening at the table.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone's there has had and Rye's big advocate of this is my time, and you should the best thing you can do is give everyone at your table 25% of the time in the game. If everyone gets an equal amount of time to play, then everyone's feeling pretty good.
I think you can extrapolate that a bit further too. If you give up, say, 25% of the time, you can ensure that there is 100% fun.
Ooh, okay. Thanks, Dad.
That's digging deep. That's a little bit of a stretch. Because I hate to say it. I mean, and I'm a huge advocate of it. Like, I don't want to mud drag a game. But me playing decks that are like anti-mud drag means I only play like 8 to 10% of the game. But I'm okay with that because I'm doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm going out of my way.
Your style is let's get the show on the road kind of thing.
I don't want to sit here. I only have 2 hours. I don't want to play 1 2-hour game. I want to play 3 45 minutes.
Right.
We had a game the other night. It was it me and it was me and Surreal and was it you, EK? I don't even remember who it was.
If it was last week, it wasn't me.
Yeah, it was. I think this was a couple weeks ago where it was 2 control decks and EK. It might have been you, Astrals, and we went and played for literally like hours.
Oh yeah, I was in that game. I was. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was 2 control decks versus EK's aggro.
To be fair, you were one of the control decks.
I know. I'm not
slowing. I know. I mean, you're not playing. You're not playing the innocent party here. Like we knew what we were getting. We knew what we were getting ourselves into. But it was just the balance of how it played out was not what we expected.
Yeah, it was a very. That's the thing about Commander. It's no 2 games are ever the same, and
you could play the same 4 decks like 5 times in a row, and it will be a completely different game every single time.
100 cards, everyone drawing, what creatures they draw, what card they draw, what removal they draw.
Even when you factor in like tutors and stuff like that, each game is still going to be completely different. It might end the same, but how you get there is absolutely different.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't like decks that are formulaic. I don't like decks that are like do this on the turn.
I don't like solved decks.
Yeah. I built
both except for one. I like my drawer deck. That deck is solved. Like everyone knows what to do.
But see, like it's fun for the person who plays it. It's absolutely horrendous to play against. No one likes playing against a Joyer deck that is optimized.
That's why I don't bust it up that much.
Deck. I mean, that's the whole like
fun.
Mitch talks about it on Commander's Quarters.
It's the one deck that he won't play.
Yeah, because it's the same thing with your Urza deck there, Swazo. You get it and you get it going, and it's just like how little fun can everyone else?
Rod, I find it funny because you don't say that about my Saskia deck, and from a satellite level, it's the exact same case.
So the thing is with that, I think there's a time length where you're like, going into a turn with that deck that you're gonna be pulling creatures out of your deck and doing this and this and this, and the turns are long, but it's not something that's
you see it coming. I think that's is that what you're trying to say?
Well, it's not. It's the whole. If you're sitting there, if you're playing Urza and you're like tapping and you're just going, well, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this, then I do that, then I like that's it's that we talked about it before, the I Hate Your Deck series on YouTube, where he did it was the one guy playing the game and the other three not participating.
They were there.
Yeah. And that's
You want to be present in the game.
Yeah.
You want to like influence what's going on.
Yeah.
You want to do what your deck. That's what you want to do. You build a deck, and your deck has some kind of goal to do. Not always win the game, not always do like this, but it has something. It has. I'm gonna play dinosaurs. I'm gonna play dragons. I'm gonna build a bunch of tokens. I'm gonna cast a bunch of flash spells. Whatever it is, you have some kind of thing in your mind when you build the deck. And when you go in and you get land screwed at 3 mana the whole game and don't get to do anything, you don't have fun. The table feels bad for you. It's not a good time, right? And that's one of those things. It's thinking of that. It's like think about playing a game of Commander and the other 3 people at the table get land screwed, and you're the only one doing what your deck's supposed to do. No one's gonna enjoy that.
I would. It's funny because like I would actually hit a certain point in that game and like, do you guys just want to shuffle up and like start a new game?
Yeah, exactly.
Like this isn't gonna be fun for me. I'm playing solitaire. You guys aren't getting to play this game. Let's just start a new one.
Yep.
And see if something changes. If it's the same thing, then like we clearly have to have another discussion and like let's figure this out. Why is this happening?
It's Commander is going to be as much fun as you are willing to make sure you have fun. We talked about it. Talking before games is the number one thing you can do while playing Commander, right? If you don't do that, if you don't communicate with your table, if you don't tell, you're way more likely to go on turn 3. Why is there a gin and taxes on the board and that I didn't expect? And that's the kind of stuff that you go, it's rule 0. Rule 0 is truly the only Commander rule you need. It's the rule that goes, okay, this is ensuring everyone here is going to have as much fun as possible. Now, bad things might happen. You might get flooded, you might get land screwed, but you're going in and at least trying to make that the best thing that could happen. So,
yeah. So so I would say overall, it really just comes down to the biggest thing is, I'll just end on this. When you come into a play group, I think having everyone adjust around you is the wrong way to look. Sometimes you have to, you make concessions, or at least, but it's while you should make some adjustments yourself, it's important to at least like be vocal and don't, if there's something you don't like or something you think would make your experience fun, say something. One of 2 things is going to happen: people are going to adapt with you, or you realize that you're going to realize that this group isn't for you, and you have to move on. You may have to move on.
Magic is one thing: a gathering.
The gathering.
A gathering. Yeah, it says it on the back of the card.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It also says it says Deckmaster on the back, but I don't know what that's about.
I think EK might have enough proofs that it doesn't say it on the back of his cards.
Oh yeah.
No, I have more proofs on my desk right now than actual Magic cards.
Yeah.
I don't think you buy actual real Magic cards anymore, EK. I think you just buy imaginary Magic cards. EK buys infinity tokens and just scribbles on them. And
they're like infinite tokens on one side.
Will you commission my infinite tokens, Mr. Miller?
Damn near, to be honest.
Well, Rod, thank you for joining us for our topic, adjusting with your Commander Playgroup. Sean, why don't you take us out as usual?
Absolutely. So I'll switch it up from what we normally say because things are different now. You can find us on Twitter at @DrawForTurn and on YouTube at DrawForTurn. We post weekly discussion topics, so drop us a follow and get in on the conversation. And also remember to subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification on all the YouTube content to keep up to date on all the sweet Commander
real
stuff.
Canadian right now, Sean.
Sorry.
Don't you know?
Hey, let's go get some Timmies. Get meself a double double.
But yeah.
But yeah, we're on YouTube. We had some new videos go up recently. One I'm a part of, and there's a lot of gameplay videos up there too. So
We're
or the podcast
migrating all of the regular episodes over there too.
Yeah,
Slowly.
We have all our podcast episodes migrated and all our gameplay episodes migrated. The only thing left to migrate is our deck techs.
Which
the ones that I didn't do the voiceover for.
Yes.
Yeah. There's one getting edited right now. There's another one that is a little bit behind on that one, just because blizzards and winter in the Midwest have affected the editing schedule. But
it's going.
All right, so let's close out with some shout outs and plugs real quick. Rod, you want to lead us off there?
I am on Twitter at Rod_Johnston. I'm on Twitch at Rod_Johnston. That's most of my things. I have a podcast called the Murder Moose Podcast, which is all about horror movies. So that is out there. If you like horror, we do lots of independent and foreign horror that we talk about. So it's weirder than even normal horror. So it's a good time. So.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at DES_AdamN. Please go retweet my recent post with my commissioned art card. Shout outs as always to Top Deck Games in Westmont, New Jersey, and the comic book store in Glassboro, New Jersey. My LGS is of choice.
EK, what about you?
Oh, I was going to tell Steven to go.
Oh,
mine's not very exciting.
I'll go for him. Go Buccaneers! Go Buccaneers! Go Buccaneers! Go Buccaneers! Go Buccaneers! Go. Okay, then did Tom Brady and Giselle and I don't know.
I was gonna say you could find me at Stevie Swazzo. That's two Z's on Instagram. Swazzo to you in your Twitch chat. And Bucks are Super Bowl champions. I was gonna put it last.
Wow.
There we go.
And Swazzo loves Big Priest. Swazzo loves Big Priest. And
I was gonna say earlier when you were talking about Big Priest, I don't know, like if you can see my face, but I felt attacked.
Yeah. I built that church in which you worship Big Priest.
EK, where can they find you on the internet?
Literally everywhere on the internet at EK Plays Cards. Shout out to my local game store, Games Plus in Mount Prospect, and shout out to Nextbridge Games in Tampa, Florida, my other game store to get singles from if I can't find them at my shop.
Home of the Super Bowl champions.
And friends, you can find me at Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at AsosFlame. I stream a mix of MTG Arena, motivational talks, and our games. Friday nights, I'm usually hosting our Commander pods as well, so keep up to date. Come hang out. Shout out to Harry Tarantula and 401 Games in my Toronto area. I haven't won any prizes lately, but you never know. That might change. Who knows?
That can change in literally any second.
Astos, you literally the joking about having a lucky horseshoe up your ass is if they actually did x-rays of you and they didn't find something lodged up your butt, I would be really shocked.
Not my fault. I won a free from the vault, a free Misty Rainforest. Okay, it's not my fault. Anyways, as always, everyone, remember to untap, upkeep, support your local game store, win free prizes, wear your mask. Remember to drop a follow to Mr. Rod Johnston. And, as always, draw for turn.
For